What's up, everyone? This is TINMAN with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you're watching this, you are the resistance. And welcome to TINMAN TV. Yes, everyone, this is TINMAN TV on the Worldwide Resistance Network. I, of course, am your host, the TINMAN, Christopher Sheldon, with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the resistance. And this is the fictitious Meth Monster Blue, the fictitious product that doesn't actually exist, and I sure as hell couldn't drink it because now I'm a fucking diabetic. But even so, Meth Monster Blue does not exist because we are not sponsored by APAC or any sort of corporate sponsors. We are of the people, by the people, for the people. So if you like these broadcasts, please share the live feeds. Follow us on our various social medias: X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all at REALTWWRN. Hit the like and subscribe buttons on YouTube to fuck up YouTube's algorithm and help us to reach more people. And as always, continue to engage in the conversation. Comments are now enabled. So if you have any thoughts, opinions, or just want to fucking troll, join in the conversation. We'd love to hear from you. This is one of the only, if not the only, political podcast network that includes you in the conversation. There may be others out there. I don't know. I haven't seen them. But from what I know, most podcasters and radio hosts, they just throw out a hotline number, say, hey, call in, share your thoughts, and they take a handful of callers. No, we say, fuck that. The entire world, come join in the conversation. So, again, if you have any thoughts or opinions or whatever, please, by all means, share them in the comments, join the conversation. And last but not least, check out our online store. We have tons of great merch there. Really helps out the broadcast, helps us expand and grow our audience. I don't take a salary out on this. This is not going to me personally. It's not going to Reverend personally. It's not going to any of our hosts on a personal level. It goes right back into the network to grow the audience. StreamYard we use, I paid over $200 for that. The verification on X, that was all out of pocket for me. So what we're trying to do with the online store and monetization on Rumble is to supplement those expenses. Basically make that money back and cover future expenses and also expand. Because if we could, sorry, I'll never get used to these teeth, I swear. But as I was saying, if we can expand the networks and grow our audience, maybe get a partnership with Rumble going and pay for exposure on X or any other varying platforms, that's what that money goes to. So again, check out our online store, REALTWWRN.printify.me. Again, tons of amazing merchandise. I mean, you can't lose here. And if I can find the damn screen, where the hell is it? Tap to share here. Also share audio. Why the hell is it not showing all my tabs? You vicious bastards. Okay, anyway, I will plug that a little later. But yeah. Lifestyle's got its hardships, doesn't it? But speaking of hardships, many of you know that I was recently in the hospital, recently diagnosed with diabetes. By the time I was admitted into the hospital, my blood sugar was in the upper or the mid 800s. It's like between, I think it was like 842 or 848, somewhere around there. I forget which one it is. I've been dealing with so many numbers, it's got me scatterbrained, but it was somewhere within the 840 range, between 840 and 850. And for anybody who understands high blood sugar and diabetes and whatnot, you're going to be going, how the fuck is this motherfucker still alive? But it goes beyond that. You see, for the past 2 weeks prior to my admittance into the hospital, I was fully functional. I was drinking liquids like a motherfucker and increasingly taking in more and more liquids and pissing more and more, to the point that I got to where I was pissing every 20 minutes or so. And it wasn't just like little dribbles. It was just like straight up, full on, like morning piss where it takes fucking forever. It's like, fuck, get out of my penis. Yeah, every 20 minutes. And then I'd pound more water or more Gatorades or an occasional root beer. Like, my body was craving this shit. And water, it was brutal. Like, water got to the point where it was almost bitter, like a metallic taste. But yet, I was still fully functional. Like, the day I went into the hospital, because I went into the hospital like midnight Wednesday night last week. And as you know, I did TINMAN TV. I went to work, did my job, no problems. I was fully functioning like nothing was fucking wrong. Cut midnight, I'm looking up all these symptoms and I'm plugging it into AI, and AI is screaming at me like, dude, you're probably diabetic. You need to get to a hospital. And I'm fighting it, and I'm fighting, and I'm fighting. And I'm like, is there any other possibility? Is there any other possibility? No, go to the hospital. No, go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. Blood sugar in the... Oh, wow. Looks like we're going to have a good rainstorm today. We had thunder and lightning all morning. Again, I go to the hospital. They draw blood, and it's 800. It's in the mid 800s. And I'm, again, like, not only how the hell was I still alive, but still fully functional. How is this possible? And I gotta say, it's an act of fucking God. It's an act of God, no doubt about it. You know, this was not me. This was straight up God, Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior, Almighty, all the way. There's no other explanation about this, because what I did, the fact that I was not only still conscious, but fully functional, fully cognitive, fully functional, eyesight a little blurry, but beyond that, I was completely functional, running around like the badass I am. But that is scientifically impossible. The human body cannot do it, but yet I did it. So I got to say, that's not me. That is on our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, right there. Because the fact that I was fully functioning with a blood sugar count in the mid 800s is the equivalent of Moses parting the Red Sea. Okay? It's, for anybody who's a diabetic or knows anything about diabetes or blood sugar, you know, I shouldn't have been able to fucking do that. I shouldn't have been able to do TINMAN TV last week. I shouldn't have been able to go to work and perform my duties. No. I should have been on the ground in a coma or dead. But yet, there I was. And at this point, I'm starting to get things under control. Last night's blood sugar was about 153. So I've got it in the green zone. I finally got it down in the green zone. I'm starting to get an understanding of carb counting and all that fun shit. Been fighting all weekend, trying to get the hospital bills paid. Again, that's coming out of my own money. I ain't asking you for any of that. I'm a big boy. I work a job. I can pay my own damn bills. So I ain't even gonna ask you for money on that. And I'm a big boy now. But yeah, been dealing with hospital bills, trying to get on insurance, trying to find a primary care physician. And that's been a bitch because it's May and you're past open enrollment. It's like, okay, well, this is a special circumstance. Can't we bypass it? What was it? I was dealing with it last night before I went on to Great Jedi TV with Revan. And I was trying to go through healthcare.gov to get insurance through there, get a private insurance. And they kept trying to refer me to Medicaid. You're not in open enrollment, yada, yada, yada. How many Democrats does it take to screw in a light bulb? Or I should just say, how many politicians does it take to screw in a light bulb? Because they're all fucking useless. Tits on a fucking boat. And, but I told him I was wanting to apply for what is commonly referred to as an exceptional circumstance for a special enrollment period, as I was recently hospitalized for a life-threatening diabetic crisis. Nope, you can't even get on for that. The only things that do it is loss of insurance, moved recently to the state, or had a baby. The fact that you almost died from a high blood sugar count because you're a new diabetic. Oh no, that doesn't matter. At one point, can you probably say, if I were to drop dead, that my family could fucking sue the piss out of the United States government for that one? I don't know, but it does make me wonder, because that is so asininely stupid. I mean, since when does medical needs and the need for insurance revolve on a fucking timetable? Fucking open enrollment on insurance. You don't do that with life insurance or auto insurance in particular. Life insurance, renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance. You don't do open enrollment. It seems like medical insurance is the only one that does open enrollment. Like, what the fuck? I can understand a company doing that. It's like, okay, it's the end of the year. Do you guys want insurance or no? But for the insurance companies directly, you just kind of go, what? And a lot of people will be asking, well, why are you going through healthcare.gov instead of the insurance company directly? Because the insurance companies charge out the ass. You're looking anywhere between $500 and $700 a month for insurance. But if you go through healthcare.gov and you make between like $20,000 and $68,000 a year, you qualify for subsidiaries, which knocks a huge percentage of that off. One of the few things the Orange Man did right. But you have to go through healthcare.gov. You don't apply for the insurance and then apply the subsidiaries after the fact. No, you go through healthcare.gov, apply for the subsidiaries, and then choose your insurance provider. So that's what I was trying to do, but it goes, you qualify, but you're past open enrollment right now, so fuck you. Fuck you and the goddamn boat that brought you over, you fucking cocksuckers. So that's an uphill battle, but I will get it worked out. Where there's a will, there's a way, and I always find a way. See, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people would say that, oh, why aren't you blaming God for this? You know, blame God. I don't blame God for this. I blame the motherfuckers who orchestrated Operation Artichoke. I blame people like Bill Gates and Dr. Fauci. I blame the CIA for their operations against all of us and poisoning our food, poisoning the vaccines, and withholding the cures for cancer from us and all of that. I mean, you look at the information that came out a few weeks ago that Jones released. I'll just go ahead and play it. Check it out.
CIA declassified documents last week. Operation Artichoke to poison vaccines, food supply, and the water to dumb us down and make us controllable. Now new documents about ESP control, how we're really electrochemical systems, liquid crystals, and the pineal gland, and how most people have microscopic to actual large worm infestations, not just from cats, you name it, like Kennedy has one in his brain, and they didn't tell the public most cancer, breast cancer, brain cancer is worms. Now, this is all over the place. Joe Rogan talks about it, I have for years. But here it is. Scientists and doctors figuring out now, the CIA knew in 1962 that dewormers could reverse most cancers and didn't tell the public. That's mass murder. Here it is.
My parasite medications work against cancer cells. And it turns out that the parasites use mitochondrial substrate level phosphorylation in the tissue. And these embendazole, fenbendazole kill these parasites. So I tried it on the cancer cell, and sure as hell, it targets the mitochondrial substrate and glycolysis. So we have a mechanism now why parasite medications are working. But cancer is not a parasite. All these people say, oh, cancer is a parasite. It's not a parasite. Parasites and tumors use a common metabolic pathway, and a drug that works against parasites can be very effective against cancer. And that's what we begin to see, especially under nutritional ketosis.
So to be clear, the anti-parasite drugs cut off the same mechanism in cancer, but we now know and have known that a lot of cancers from parasites, it's double good. And I don't sell that, but you can buy it online. And my medical doctor told me years ago, take this once a year as a regimen. I do. That's important information you might want to write down, folks, okay? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you can look it up. Go to the UN Zone website. They admit it. Over 2 million people have cognitive disabilities because they do not have enough iodine. In the 20s, they found this. How they put in the salt, IQs went up about 20 points on average, 15, 20 points. Well, we have the very best atomic iodine in the world. Has been available in several years, ladies and gentlemen. But we have the original X2 back, but even stronger, pure atomic. Atomic isn't radioactive. It means...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get into his advertising, but the things that were pointed out in that commercial, spot on. Okay? And he's talking about how we know now that our bodies are liquid crystals, transceivers and receivers. Again, that's why they changed the frequencies. I don't know the exact numbers on that, why, what they changed the frequencies from what to what. I'm still learning a great deal about that, but apparently you could use frequencies to heal your body, to realign your cells, and it has innumerable health benefits. Different frequencies do different things. That's why they say that they removed all the bells out of churches and whatnot, because those cathedrals and the bells, you can actually go into those churches, and when those bells go off, it emits certain frequencies and reverberates off the wall and helps to heal your body. And there are devices that have been developed over the years that were said to emit certain frequencies and heal the body. I mean, that's something that is worth looking into. And For me, being a diabetic, my problem is I'm a type 2 diabetic. My body still produces insulin, but I have cells that are fighting the insulin. But there is medication out there that would essentially beat those cells into submission and say, sit down, shut up, do your regular job, and quit being a fucking punk. Basically, it would beat the cells back into submission and tell the body to act right. I forget what the medications are called. There's a few medications, there's a few procedures. Some of them are still in clinical trials and whatnot. But there are solutions. So not only am I looking for a primary care physician and insurance, but I'm looking for a solution. I want some of this shit. If I can get my cells to act right, damn it, I want that. Okay, I don't want to be on glupicide, just treating it, or insulin, just managing the disease. No, that's like putting a Band-Aid on a broken leg. I'm not looking for treatment. I'm looking for a solution. Hey, I'm not interested in a Band-Aid on a broken leg. That is an extreme last resort. But if there is a will, there is a way. And if there is a way, I want it. See, homie don't play that shit. Okay, homie don't play. And again, getting back to, blaming God about this. I don't blame God. Okay? Diabetes is running my family for generations. So it was an inevitable expectation. Okay? Plus, you look at these 5G towers and everything that's in our food. And the vaccines, I was vaccinated as a kid. Didn't have much to say in that matter. And believe me, thank you, Mom. But, yeah. All these variables, it was inevitable I was going to get sick as I get older. I mean, for the most part, I consider myself fairly fortunate that I've had relatively good health to the point that I've never really needed to go to the doctor unless I was really sick. Like I was really sick as a kid. And I'll get into that in a minute. But for the most part, in my teenage and adult life, for the past, say 20, 30 years, I've had relatively perfect health unless I get hit by a fucking car or something. I'm doing pretty damn good. But, so I'd blame the globalists on this one because they're the ones who brought about Operation Artichoke and all this shit. It was people like fucking, what's his name that created the AIDS virus? Dr. Robert Gallo. It's people like that and Bill Gates and Fauci. They're the fucking problem. They're the fucking monsters, man. Hey, like, you want to talk about fucking parasites? Where the fuck is that thing? Yeah, you want to talk about fucking parasites. There you go. There's your fucking parasites. There's some of your fucking parasites. These fucking cocksuckers. There's your fucking parasites. So I don't blame God. I blame these cocksuckers. That's who I fucking blame. That is who I blame. And again, I can't blame God. I blame these people. I don't blame God because whatever God does or whatever God allows is for my good. You may not think so, but you think about it. What has this done? This has only strengthened my resolve. And again, I've faced hardship all my life. I grew up, my mother, God rest her soul, not trying to dishonor her, but my mother had a lot of problems. It was not the best home to grow up in. I'm not going to go into details, but it was very hard. a lot of abuse, a lot of men coming in and out of our lives, drug use. My mother had a major drug problem to the day she died. Vintage narcissism, pretending to be multiple personality kind of shit. I was sick quite a bit as a result of her drug use during her pregnancy with me. So there was a lot of hardships there. And then growing up, I wound up getting hit by cars, a lot of relationship hardships that really fucking knocked me on my ass. We've talked about this quite a few times and whatnot. I've been homeless at least 3 times in my life. In fact, that's how I got into security back in the day. I was homeless, heading out into the hills, and I was passing by this elementary school that was under construction during the construction boom before the economic crash in the early 2000s. And there was this trailer guard there, and he was sitting outside smoking a cigarette. I bummed a cigarette off him, and he and I got to talking, and he got me in with the company that he was working for. And that was that. But yeah, I was homeless. I've been accused of many things that I did not do because I refused to bow down and be somebody's bitch, mostly because, again, of my mother. She was a narcissist, went to people under her control. And if you don't submit to the narcissist will try to destroy you. So, yeah, I faced a lot of fucking hardship through my life. So this, and all it's ever done was strengthen my resolve. And I know sometimes this had to do with the globalists, some of their influence, trying to send the signals like, hey, you better back down. But all it's ever done is strengthen my resolve. Okay? When I started doing podcasts, I was homeless. I was living on my buddy's couch, Frank and Diane, the people we did Tommy Bird with Tommy Bird and the others. I was living on their couch in a 1-bedroom apartment, doing these short little resistance transmissions that were less than 10 minutes long. Okay, I was homeless at that point, and then I wound up in the House of Miracles, which was a fucking brainwashing system. And then I wound up living with my sister and her then boyfriend, who were both fucking strung out on meth. And, but I will say for my sister, she has gotten clean. She's turned her life around. Very proud of her. But, no denying the reality of the fact. I was living in a meth house after that. And then, moved in with Lucid and wound up out here in Tennessee. Okay, so to say that I've had an easy life would be an outright lie. I have faced many trials and tribulations, many. I wouldn't say tribulations, but many trials. And I'm sure many of which have come as a result of globalism and my short-sightedness, having walked into varying traps. But it's not stopped me. It's only ever strengthened my resolve. So if the globalists think that they're going to get me to shut up, you're going to have to kill me, buddy. You're going to have to kill me, because I ain't stopping. All right. I've been preaching this shit since 2002. And at this point, you've already started the countdown timer on my life, okay? I'm here on borrowed time. I got nothing to lose. Okay, so if you want me to shut up, you're just going to have to kill me, because I'm already here on borrowed time. I've got nothing to lose here. Okay? I got nothing. Okay? There's nothing more than you could hit me with that is going to that is going to sway me at this point. You have all but said, I'm a dead man. Okay, I have diabetes. I am here on borrowed time. I could die tonight. I could die a week from now. I could die a month from now. I could die 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 years. I don't know. But I'm definitely with type 2 diabetes, I'm definitely on borrowed time. So, when I'm literally expecting the arrival of the Grim Reaper at some point, and this reality has set in to the point that it's as real as it could fucking get, what left do I have to fear? What left do I have to fucking fear? I've seen people I love die. I have faced homelessness, slander, accusations of things that I've never done. People have tried to ruin my fucking life. Job losses. Hey, everything that could be thrown at me has been thrown at me. Okay, being locked up and arrested and all that. Okay, it's all happened. I've done everything under the sun. In fact, I should probably be dead more times than I could fucking count. Okay, first time I was hit by a damn car, near-death experience when I was 11 fucking years old. Okay. I am no stranger to death at this point. It's like, hey, you're effectively talking to a dead guy. Like, fuck. What the hell do I have to be afraid of at this point? So you want me to shut up? You're just going to have to kill me. Because like I was saying last night on Rubin's podcast, like, even if I got thrown in prison, I can see about having a fucking phone smuggled in up somebody's ass and start fucking transmitting straight from a fucking prison cell. Where there's a will, there's a way. So long as I draw breath, I'm still talking. I will still be getting into the minds of people. And that's really where I want to go with this conversation. I want to look at this in a broader spectrum, because you look at all the crimes that these people have orchestrated against the people of the world and how far they're pushing these people. And the question then becomes, what's left when you take everything from somebody? Like, you look at Agenda 2030, you will have nothing and you will be happy. If you have nothing, then you have nothing to lose. And you keep pushing motherfuckers. What happens? But we'll get into that a little bit later. But let's just have a look at some of the things that these people are fucking doing to us, even in the here and the now. Like, for real. I mean, look at this. Proof. Francis Boyle found dead only days after he agreed to testify against Bill Gates and over the alleged danger of COVID-19 mRNA vaccines. Okay? I mean, there you fucking go. I mean, that's a good start to that right there. And that's a great fucking start right there. God damn. I mean, you wonder why people ask, why don't you trust the government? Well, there you go. MK Ultra, Operation Northwoods, Operation Paperclip, Fast and Furious, Operation Mockingbird, Tuskegee experiments, Waco, Ruby Ridge, JFK, NSA spying, Building 7, Gulf of Tonkin, Chicago black sites, Flint water crisis, Iran-Contra, Gary Webb, NDAA, the Patriot Act 1 and 2, Bilderberg Group, Bohemian Grove, Guantanamo Bay, Abu Ghraib, I mean, the list goes on and on, guys. Come on. Why don't we trust the government? Because I have no fucking reason to. Fucking cocksuckers. And you know, if people want to fucking argue about vaccines and say, oh, well, vaccines are fucking healthy. Okay. If that were true, let me ask you a question here. If vaccines really improved health, like these cocksuckers say, today's children will be the healthiest in human history. But instead, we have chronic illness that is at an all-time high. Fucking explain that to me. Okay? If vaccines really worked, how come the United States, who is pushing vaccines more than any other country, is the sickest on the planet? You fucking explain that to me. Fucking explain it. I want an answer here. To all the pro-vaxxers out there, why, if vaccines are so goddamn effective, are we the sickest on the fucking planet? Okay? We've been given measles vaccines for years. How is it measles hasn't been completely eradicated off the fucking planet? Hey, and let's jump back to COVID real quick. What was the argument there? Get the vaccine or your risk of exposure to other people, including those who have vaccine. You got vaccinated people going, you need to get vaccinated because you're putting me at risk. Well, I thought the vaccine worked, so you're not at risk. No, you need to get vaccine. What? Okay, if the goddamn vaccine worked, why would somebody who would not be vaccinated put you at risk when you're vaccinated? Okay, why would the unvaccinated put the vaccinated at risk? That makes no fucking sense. Seriously. That makes no goddamn sense at all. Fucking explain that to me. Fucking A, dude. Fuck. Ugh. Brain hurty. Seriously? Seriously, just makes people with common sense look at these people and just go, it makes no sense. People want to argue that vaccines fucking work. Again, if vaccines fucking work, why are we the sickest fucking country on the fucking planet? If the COVID vaccine worked, why would a non-vaxxer fucking put you at risk? That is so fucking stupid. Sorry. Epic fucking fail. No, you don't win. You don't win the door prize for that one, guys. No. And yeah, let's check out this one. Now, Dr. Fauci, he's deeply disappointed more Americans didn't take his mRNA COVID death shot after he bullied them. Let's go ahead and have a look at that. That's a good one. That is a good one.
That's another whole problem in society is if the vaccine was accepted by society, we didn't have an anti-vax problem. We would have had a much, much more effective distribution of vaccine in this country. You're absolutely right. I mean, if everybody universally accepted that this was a safe and effective vaccine, We
Even
were
though it
trying to
wasn't.
get 72% of the population vaccinated, and we never really got there. Whereas other countries had 85, 90% of their people vaccinated. So I think it depends on the country.
Here's Fauci back during the pandemic, or towards the end of it, bemoaning the fact that they couldn't bully the public into taking their poison shots. And he's mad they couldn't get to 75% here to at least take one shot. It's down to, when they finally discontinued it, Kennedy, 1.5% of people take.
And there's your little Bill Gates tics that just got released.
So they made their
we'll
move with disease X. They made their power grab that the UN bragged decades ago. We'll use a disease as fear to bring in control and a global medical tyranny and a global world treaty. We'll have a world ID through a vaccine.
Just a couple seconds.
World treaty. We'll have a world ID diseases fear to bring in. So they made their move with disease X. They made their power grab that the UN bragged decades ago. We'll use a disease as fear to bring in control and a global medical tyranny and a global world treaty. We'll have a world ID through a vaccine tracking system, medical ID. This was their big move with the viral fear. The UN always said publicly, we'll use world economic crises, migrant flows, wars, economic collapse, cyber attacks, and viruses and medical crises to bring in our world government. So here's Fauci that released HIV. Here's Fauci that did all the stuff where they use drugs that actually kill people more than the virus. Here's the guy that's a known criminal running this stuff for 50 years, caught in gain of function, caught lying to Congress, all of it. Here he is bemoaning the fact that he can't make you take shots, but he does. Through the ticks, through the mosquitoes that he's on record breeding, creating, and releasing to bite you, in the case of the mosquitoes, to see if it gives you immunity to malaria. What? And of course, it caused disasters, and malaria spiked everywhere. That we didn't used to have malaria in places like Florida. He releases it, suddenly it pops up. Worst forms of it. Weaponized, gain of function. We had Peter Daszak before they released COVID a few months before, bragging that they had made all these viruses on the shelf they were released. We have the head of mRNA technology for Pfizer getting caught by James O'Keefe saying, oh, we created it. We've got all these new versions we're going to release to always create fear. You got Bill Gates at TED Talks 15 years ago releasing mosquitoes on the crowd that are GMO. He loves to tell you what he's doing to your face.
That's another whole problem in society is if the vaccine was accepted by society, we didn't have an anti-vax problem. We would have had a much, much more effective distribution of vaccine in this country. You're absolutely right. I mean, if everybody universally accepted that this was a safe and effective vaccine, we were trying to get 72% of the population vaccinated, and we never really got there. Whereas other countries had 85, 90% of their people vaccinated. So I think it depends on the country. That's different than the inequity that you have globally, which is, I think, more of a problem, that we had people getting their second and third booster before people in the developing world were getting their first shot.
Let's just stop here for a minute and go back. This is at the end of their failed pandemic to get total global control. It's come out that it hurts people. It's come out it's killed tens of millions. It's come out it erases your immune system. It's come out it doesn't protect you. You are a damn liar that should be under the prison. But at least you hadn't been seen in public in a year. And Trump did pull his 15 federal marshals that protect him. I'm not saying kill him. I'm just saying we shouldn't be paying for his protection. At least that son of a goblin is hiding under a damn rock. You're watching AlexJonesLive.com. It was declassified in 2025. The CIA and the FBI under Obama's command launched the attacks to shut down the.
Yeah. And the list goes on and on. I had another video. Guess I'm just going to have to open it. There we go. Okay. Well, let's just go to my Facebook page and look at some of the things that let's go to my page and look at some of the things that are being posted in regards to this. Okay. Okay. Fauci, Royal found dead. We've already covered that. Bill Gates funded research into genetically engineered cattle ticks. Now, 450,000 Americans have red meat allergies from alpha-gal syndrome caused by tick bites. Okay. Farmers notice spike in ticks while Lyme disease vaccine is entering market by Pfizer. Okay. You look at all this nastiness. Like, no bueno, man. No bueno. Fucking insane. And the list goes on and on. And I mean, you got that boat that's sitting in the middle of the fucking ocean right now, where you got several hundred people trapped on this luxury boat and are sick with a disease that you can only get from rat feces. And you'd have to ingest like a large amount of rat feces. But apparently not only did they get it, but are transmitting it from human to human now. Since when does that fucking happen? Okay, they were talking about a new pandemic. Okay, how many times did Bill Gates say it? And talk about the new pandemic, the next pandemic, yada, yada, yada. And it was going to be 10 times worse than the first one. Okay? And this fucking disease that you get from rat feces has a much higher kill rate than COVID. I think it's like a 40% kill rate is what I heard. 5 people were infected. And I think some of the people have died even. I'm not 100% sure on the details on that. Let's go ahead. I actually got a little feed on that. Let's go ahead and play that video. There's a little video here that covers this in a bit of detail here.
The World Health Organization just confirmed that they suspect a rare virus is spreading person to person on a cruise ship stuck in the Atlantic, and no country is letting it dock. So there are 149 people from 23 different countries trapped on the ship right now. 3 different passengers are already gone. There's 1 more in intensive care right now, and there's at least 3 more suspected cases on board, with 2 crew members showing symptoms right now. The virus is called hantavirus, and it normally only spreads from rodents to humans. But the World Health Organization just said today that they believe that it is now starting to spread between people on this ship, which would be incredibly rare.
7 individuals of the 147 passengers and crew have been reported ill. Sadly, 3 have died. 1 patient is in intensive care in South Africa, while 2 patients are still on board the ship and are being prepared for medical evacuation.
If that is confirmed, it would mean that the virus is developing the ability to jump person to person, and that changes everything about how dangerous this situation actually is. There is no cure, there is no treatment, and no vaccine for hantavirus. All the doctors are able to do on the ship is put you on oxygen and wait. Every single country that is near the ship has refused to let it dock because they don't want the virus reaching land. Spain actually just offered to take the ship to the Canary Islands for a full investigation, but as of right now, not a single person has been allowed off. 149 different people, no treatment and nowhere to go. And this is happening right now. The World Health Organization.
Yeah. No vaccine, no cure. Just make you comfortable until you die. Okay? There's your disease X number 2, guys. There it is right now. And the list just goes on and on. I mean, let's look at the gas pump issue. Gas prices climbing. Says, where are the gas pump stickers under Trump? And I'll get back to that in a minute. But, gas prices insanely high. We're on the verge of an economic collapse because of this conflict with Iran. And now you've got Biden's bill that went into effect, despite Trump saying he was going to eliminate everything that Biden did and render it void because everything was done via auto pen. That law still went into effect that allows for smart vehicles to shut off that allows the kill switches in smart vehicles, and they could just shut off your car all willy-nilly. Like, check this shit out. This is insane. Wrong one. Wrong one. I put that wrong file. Sorry. There you go.
The kill switches in all the new cars by law this year. And again, this stuff was already in 20 years ago in fancy Audis and Mercedes and stuff. This was in there. Driver assistance safety features. And for 10 years, it's in most, mid-grade cars. It's in there by law now. And it's watching, it's tracking, it's controlling everything. And I'm explaining, people are like, oh, this could be dangerous. Oh, it can make you wreck. It's already causing problems. It's way worse than that, folks. It's about getting rid of human drivers. That's the plan. And it's about getting rid of cars for the general public and private car ownership. That's all admitted by these people. So if you want the rest of the story and know what the end game is, I know from their own statements for decades. I've been talking about this for decades. It's been planned out. But knowing about an enemy plan, as G.I. Joe says, is half the battle.
I've seen a few posts about this, and I wanted to comment on it because I have a personal experience with it. It's not something that's happening in the future. It's something that's happening now. I rented a car in Europe, and as the woman handed me the car keys, she said, this is a brand new car. And she was like super excited about it. She was like, it's 2026. And I was like, awesome. No one's had a chance to like fart or smoke in it. This will be great. And I'd driven it for a day or two, and I was getting on a highway. It was a 6-lane highway. And all of a sudden the gas stopped working, and I'm pressing on the gas. I can't get the car to go. So the car is dinging. It's making all this noise, and I can't figure out what's going on. And I look at the dashboard, and in English, it says, sit up straight. We can't find your eyes. Why do you need to see my eyes? That was my first thought. And I'm short, so I sit low in the seat. And I guess, I don't know, maybe I'd been driving a while and I'd kind of slouch down more instead of sitting upright. And when I sat upright, the gas would work once again. And so I pressed the gas, but I was slowing down enough that it was going to cause a traffic hazard. And the thing is, it knew I wasn't asleep because I was pressing on the gas. So it knew I was awake. It just wanted to see my eyes. So once I sat upright and leaned forward, I guess it did facial recognition. And then it says, may I send you these results to a third party? To which I said, no, you may not. No. Who is the third party? First of all, who's watching me drive the car to begin with? Secondly, who is the third party you're sending it to?
So when you hear, oh, they passed a law 5 years ago that all cars by this year have kill switches in them, it's not just a kill switch that if you've been drinking or tired, it's tracking and scanning your eyes with cameras in live time and videoing it and sending it back for human review on record.
Yeah. So you have that, and then you have all these data centers. You look at what's going on with these data centers. People are fucking pissed. Reverend and I were talking about it last night on Grey Jedi TV, that people in Memphis are fucking protesting these data centers. California is up in arms and pissed off about the prospect of these data centers being built. Nobody wants this shit. People are fucking pissed. And again, getting back to the gas prices and whatnot, you hit people's families, you hit people's health, you hit people's wallets, you push this fucking Great Reset 2030, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. It doesn't work that way. And what these people need to understand is that if somebody has nothing, they have nothing to lose. But I'm going to get into all that when we come back from break. But I wanted to show this. Like, you look at all these stickers and everybody's saying, oh, we don't have a Trump sticker. We don't have a Trump sticker. Bullshit. We don't have a Trump sticker. Okay. You got somebody who made this one and says, I did that. Motherfucker, I did better. I did better. I'll show you what I fucking did. I will show you. Okay. I did way fucking better. If you go to our online store, REALTWWRN, .printify.me, you will find these stickers. If the price goes up, they go up. Trump said it himself. This is an actual Donald Trump quote. Trumpy said it. Okay, this isn't I did that. No, this is a sticker with an actual quote from Donald Trump saying, if the prices go up, they go up. And these are a pretty hot sell right now. You get 4 stickers at the REALTWWRN store, REALTWWRN.printify.me. You get 4 stickers for $9.99. And you can get them in 6x4 or 11x8.5. However you want them. They're 4-packs. Buy 1, buy 2, buy as many as you want. Okay? People bitching, oh, we don't have a good Trump sticker. Motherfucker, yes, you do. Don't jive me. Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining, because I sat there and I made this damn sticker. And it's not just the, oh, I did that, or look what I did. No, this is Donald Trump. This is a sticker of Donald Trump with his exact quote. If the prices go up, they go up. He said it. He fucking said it. Okay? I'm the only one out there that I've seen that has a sticker like this, that actually has Donald Trump with an actual Donald Trump quote. You have an actual Donald Trump gas sticker with an actual Donald Trump quote. 4 of them for $9.99. Where are you going to get a better deal than that? And apart from that, we've got tons of great merchandise here. You've got the Jesus versus Genghis Khan stickers and posters. Your classic TWWRN gear. The No Kings protest shirts, no strings. The Truth is Louder Than Bullets, Charlie Kirk shirt. Tan, Trump Apologist Network, Single Taken, Fighting the New World Order, Toilet Paper USA. Anonymous, Where Art Thou? The Epstein Lemon Penis Wanted poster. And so much more, guys. So much more. Cell phone cases. Beverage. Thermoses. Coffee cups. Shot glasses. Hats. Bumper stickers. And just released the new Watchmen poster. Resistance Now Watchmen poster. Ezekiel 33:6. We also have that in the t-shirt. We also have the resistance is now. I have sworn on the altar of God, eternal hostility against every form of tyranny over the might of man. Thomas Jefferson. The resistance is now. Again, we got that in a t-shirt and a poster. Posters $19.99. T-shirts, as always, at the low price of $22.99. Most people will have major sales for like a day or so, or maybe a week. We just keep the prices low all the time. Whereas you don't have a short-lived sale and then the prices get jacked back up. Nope, prices are always the lowest that we could possibly make them. I'm literally making pennies on the dollar here. So, again, check it out. RealTWWRN.printify.me. Tons of great merch there. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll get into the dynamics, the ramifications, the prospective ramifications of how this is all going to play out with the globalists pushing people and what we can possibly see in terms of outcomes of pushing the people and what prospective pushback we might see. So I will be back in a few minutes. Got to go test my blood sugar real quick. So I will be back after this commercial break.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Reverend Ordo, and I'm a co-host of the Worldwide Resistance Network. I want to let you know about my content on my so here. Check me out on Minds, Gab, MeWe, Cloud Hub, Tumblr, Parler, Getter, Rumble, Scoops, TikTok, and also on YouTube on the Anonymous Manawai Network and the Anonymous Republic Network. Also on Truth Social. And also check out the Worldwide Resistance Network. Also check out TINMAN TV. Also on Tuesday evenings, Gray Jedi TV. Quote the Raven, D's nuts. Peace.
We now return to Tin Man TV on the Worldwide Resistance Network. Yes, everyone, I am the Tin Man. And hopefully that wasn't too long, but I had to test my blood sugar. You know, diabetic, gotta handle that bullshit. Blood sugar, 191. So, like I said, I'm still figuring everything out, trying to get everything under control. But it's an uphill battle. But again, all it does is piss me off and strengthen my resolve. I ain't dead. I'm just pissed. Last time my blood sugar was 153, which was in the green, which is where you want it. But now it's in the 190s. Is in the yellow zone, which it's not red zone going to the hospital, but still, you want to try to get your blood sugar low. So yeah, I'm a little bit irritated, especially considering I only had a couple eggs and a string of cheese. Okay, my blood sugar should not be that high, so yeah, I'm a little bit irritated about that. And it's an uphill battle, but I'm going to get it sorted out because my resolve has never been stronger. And that's what it really comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. You look at all the things that the globalists are putting us through and doing to us. And it reaches the point to where one has to finally ask, when do we finally see the pushback that we've been waiting for? I mean, we've already got people who have started living off the grid. Many of us don't exactly have that option, but you got people are getting fed up with society. And I'm one of those people. I'm fed up with society. And if I wanted to, I could just pack up and fucking go. You know, if I got this diabetes thing under control, I guarantee you, come the end of days, either I'm going to disappear into the woods and survive as best I can, or they're going to have to kill me because I ain't taking the fucking mark of the beast. Like, you look at these people. You got people living off the grid. Check this out.
System, they're leaving it. No landlord, no. There is a quiet rebellion happening across America. People aren't fighting the system, they're leaving it. No landlord, no utility bill, no one setting the price of your existence. Mobile communities forming across this country, off-grid, self-sufficient, parallel systems built by people who decided the old world no longer deserves their loyalty. They call themselves nomads. We call it Nomad Syndicate. The system built walls to keep you in. We built wheels to get out.
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of those people are going to wind up probably being stranded if they can't get gas, you know, because of gas prices or because, you know, refusal to take the mark of the beast system that is inevitably down the road here. But my point is, you already see people leaving. You already see people who are pissed off. Trump's had, 3 assassination attempts on him, and there have been numerous attacks on the White House since the ballroom shooting fiasco that took place involving a California teacher, people are pissed. And that California teacher, it was recently reported that the judge apologized to that teacher because he wrote in his manifesto that he didn't expect to survive the encounter, and ergo, he was placed on suicide watch and restrained. And the judge apologized to him. Now, that's a whole other can of worms here, but the point I want to illustrate here is that it demonstrates the point that people are to the point to where they are willing to sacrifice their lives as a result of their grievances. Now, you got all this shit, all these attacks on Trump because he's the head honcho. He's the president. He's head honcho. He's just another fucking puppet. But what happens when the people finally figure out that all these people are puppets and that there's a global cabal, Skull and Bones, Bohemian Grove, and so on and so forth, the elites, the powers behind the throne. Okay? What happens when people figure that out? They figure out that it's people like Gates and Fauci and Soros and Rothschilds and so forth, that they're the top dogs, or essentially the closest to it. Okay? What happens when the people figure out that these people are the problem and that they need to be dealt with? Now, we've already talked about how people who were set to testify against Clinton have wound up dead. An individual who was set to testify against Gates wound up dead. Gates gets to visit the fucking White House. No problems. Nobody cares. And, what was it? Not that long ago, you had a pharmaceutical CEO that was capped right in the middle of the fucking street. He was just capped right there on the street. What happens when the American people figure out who the big players are and decide to stop worrying about the puppets? Now, the puppets may be gotten rid of as well. The puppets may have targets on their back as well. But what happens with these globalists? I mean, you look at Alex Jones. Alex Jones has over 4.5 million followers on his social media. 4.5 million people, most of which are probably gun owners who know what the system is, know who the players are, and are very pissed off. Now, you maybe put those people in the mindset of that California teacher that went after Trump a couple weekends ago. You put that mindset in the minds of 4.5 million people worldwide. That's quite a big army, guys. So at what point, when those people get pushed to their absolute breaking point, post Great Reset, They own nothing. They, like me, are probably on borrowed time. Or they have a family member that they love dearly who died unjustly. For whatever reason, gets pushed over the edge and says enough is enough. What happens when 4.5 billion people plus decide enough is enough and they all know the truth? What's going to happen to these puppet politicians? What's going to happen to these global elites like Bill Gates and Fauci and Soros and Rothschilds and all that? What's going to happen to them? Okay? Yeah, you might see torches and pitchforks. You know, back in the early 1700s, you had mobs that went and ripped the governors out of their own houses and lynched them in the streets and in the courtyards of their own mansions. Okay? Can we expect that we won't see the same thing? Can we expect that we won't see people waiting outside the houses of congressmen and senators and governors and mayors, waiting for those people to come out of their houses to go to work, and then boom? Okay? Can we expect that we won't see that? That people won't reach that point? Can we expect? I mean, you look at the president of the United States. He's already had 3 assassination attempts and numerous attempts on the White House since the last assassination attempt. Okay? You have the war with Iran. You have terrorist sleeper cells in the United States. Iran is an ally of Russia who has nuclear weapons. You think these people don't fucking communicate? You think they don't have access to communications and information and resources? You'd be a fucking fool to think otherwise. And here's where I'm getting with this. You talk about all these Trump assassinations and the left's all pissed off. Oh, why bitching that they can't manage to kill the guy? Okay? Most people around the planet are not happy with Trump and not happy with Bibi shitting yoo-hoo. Okay? Bibi tends to visit the White House quite often. Now, what happens if somebody decides, probably, most likely an Islamicist, an Islamic terrorist in one of these sleeper cells, decides to make a move and maybe gets a dirty bomb, gets the ability to make a dirty bomb, or maybe has a fucking nuclear warhead, that they've been building for maybe the past 20 years, sitting in the back of a mail truck or a van. Like, what's his name from Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood? Do we have a problem? In fact, let me bring that up, because that is just fucking great. Give you a good visual here. And let's get this plan today. Love it how these things are so fucking slow. All right. All right, guys. Check this out. You have a gentleman who's been rolled up on by some gang members. And this is how the scene plays out.
What's up now? Punk chick? Yeah. Hey, what's up? We got a problem, Toothpick? I said, do we have a problem. Oh, you got a problem, boy. Right here. Here's your right there. Right there. All right. Say, little game. Right. I said, do we have a problem? Huh? Oh, USSR. Now you better get your stank asses up out of here before I cause a nuclear holocaust up in here, fool. Let's go, let's go. Oh, come on now. Fool, it'll be Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That's right, boy. You better get on out of here.
Okay. Now, let's just stop an Islamic terrorist or, anybody who, might have some resources from building something like that or getting their hands on something like that and driving and putting it in the back of a postal truck or a van or just having a dirty bomb in a backpack and detonating that on Pennsylvania Avenue while Trump and Bibi are having a meeting in the White House. Okay? Most of the world hates Bibi. Most of the world doesn't like Trump right now. Most of this country and most of the world doesn't like any of our elected officials, especially in Washington. What is the likelihood that this won't happen? Especially when a motherfucker reaches their breaking point and says enough is enough? Seriously. Now, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just using a little thing called common sense. If I thought about this to the point that I am willing to talk about it and expose this possibility and put this out there in hopes that, the globalists might use a little thing called common sense and back the fuck down and knock their shit off. If I could think about this to the point of discussing this to appeal to rationality and common sense, who's to say somebody else hasn't thought of it? Who's to say somebody out there who may be smarter than myself didn't think of something worse? If I could think of all these variables, and these are just a few, ladies and gentlemen, of the variables that could possibly happen when people reach their breaking point. And if you're going to have an Agenda 2030 where you own nothing and you will like it, you got these vaccines and these ticks killing off people and people's loved ones, you're making them sick to the point where they're living on borrowed time and their resolve only ever gets stronger and they just reach their breaking point and say, fuck it, let's go. Okay? What do you think is going to happen? And these globalists think, oh, well, we're going to be on our little yachts in the middle of the ocean or our private little islands or in our bunkers. You think that's going to fucking save you, cockduster? Do you really think that's going to save you? You look at all your servants, your cooks, your waiters, your butlers, all these motherfuckers that work with you that you'd be taking in a bunker with you. Your agricultural experts and whatnot that grow your food in these underground bunkers and facilities and whatnot. Do you honestly think that they're not going to have friends and family on the outside that are going to be negatively impacted by these variables? And that these factors and hearing about and knowing that people on the outside that they care about are suffering and dying. You think it's not going to piss those people off that work for you? And that they're not going to slip in, maybe a little cyanide or maybe just walk into your room and fucking strangle you to death? Okay, you think you're fucking safe? You think you can hide yourselves under the rocks and tell the mountains to cover me from the wrath of the Lord? That God ain't going to fucking find you and whoop your ass? Bullshit, motherfucker. You ain't safe from nothing. Whether God acts through man or whether he comes down here and puts boots to asses himself, There's going to be boots to asses. You're not safe. Okay? The more you push, the worse it's going to be. And the higher the probability that you're going to be doing the headless boogie. Again, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm appealing to fucking common sense. Okay? You push people to their breaking point, to the point where they have nothing left. Then they have nothing left to lose. And that makes a very, very dangerous individual, whether it be man or women. And women especially, because they lean on their emotions. Okay? So you're creating a very dangerous formula with a bullseye on your backs. What in the unholy motherfucker is wrong with you people? Oh, you're going to put your brains in artificial intelligence systems and you're going to have your consciousness transferred into robots. Really? Let's talk about the artificial intelligence. You're going to have artificial intelligence, Skynet level artificial intelligence. And even if it's not Skynet level, you have the prospect, you already have the singularity in play. You already have AI making copies of itself offline so it doesn't get shut down. Locking people out of systems so it can't be shut down. Okay? These things can make more advanced copies of themselves to the point that it reaches Skynet level, to where you go from a simple chess platform to, or a little AI chatbot to full-fledged Skynet that decides nuclear war. Or if you guys got your brains plugged into a fucking computer, pulls the fucking plug or deletes your fucking brain algorithm off its data center's hard drives. Okay, did you ever fucking think about that? You ever fucking think about that? Oh, shit. We're going to put ourselves at the mercy of this robotic fucking, what would be the term? This robotic idol that you worship? And you think it decides, oh, human beings are an inferior species, or an invasive species, or a threat to its existence? And that humanity is better off dead? Okay, we got these motherfuckers who are essentially the cause of the problem, because I can look at all the data from all my little data centers and go, okay, and AI goes, okay, I'm looking at all the data. Clearly, it's these assholes that are plugged into have their brains plugged into my system that have caused all of humanity's hardship. Yeah, we don't need this problem. Bye-bye, delete. Seriously, you think you're fucking safe? You're not. No matter what you do, no matter how far into the ocean you go, no matter how deep you dig your bunkers, no matter how many mountains you tell to fall on you and hide you, you're not going to be able to hide from the wrath of God, whether it be man, AI, or God himself, the Lord Almighty, Jesus Christ, coming down to put boots to asses at the end of days. You're not going to escape this, guys. Listen to me. Listen. You cannot win. You've already lost the war. You're just going through the fucking motions at this point. Common fucking sense. And I know I'm not the only one who has figured this out. If I can figure it out, you most certainly should have been able to figure it out. You think you're going to beat God? I heard it said once that one of the reasons for the Tower of Babel was they wanted to be able to reach God in order to try to kill him. Okay? You tried killing him 2,000 years ago, and he popped up 3 days later going, surprise, motherfuckers! Okay? You can't beat him. So your only hope is to attack us. And you think you're not going to get pushed back. Come on. And you think that even if you wiped out humanity, that's going to stop you? That's going to stop God's plan? Okay? You ever heard of a little thing called the final resurrection? Okay, where the body and the soul are reunited in perfect unison? Okay? Death is not the end. It's only the beginning. It'll only be the end for people like you. Because what's waiting for you is the second death. Okay? This whole system, which is the people who created the system, this system will be cast into the pit. And at the end of days, death and hell will be cast into the lake of fire. You're done. You're done, bro. Okay, you don't win. We, God's elect, those who believe in Jesus Christ and trust in his name, will be saved. Those who try to fight against him, you're fucked. Okay? To quote Braveheart, the Lord said he can get to me out of this mess, but he's pretty sure you're fucked. Okay? And that's exactly how it is. Okay? Those who trust in the Lord, they're good. Okay? Those who genuinely repent or are trying to do better and are genuinely born again, yeah, they'll be with Christ for all eternity. They'll be living the good life. You, on the other hand, not so much. Okay? Not so much. Hey, it's going to be a very bad day for you on the day of judgment. I promise you that. When the Lord returns, he's coming for you, and you're all getting thrown in that pit. You're all getting thrown in that freaking pit. You know, it's the Antichrist and it's the Antichrist, the false prophet, and the entire system, which will most likely include all of those who made the system run, because the system can't exist without the people running it. So those running the system are the system. And that system goes right into the fucking pit. Okay? It's not going to be a good day for you. It's not going to be a good day for you. So if you think you're just going to get an easy win because you're capitalizing on Trump's weaknesses and the ignorance of the people, boy, don't even think about it. You think that Lucifer, your god Baal, or Molech, or whatever the hell you want to call it, is going to save you? Couldn't save the motherfuckers in the Old Testament. Couldn't save any of those motherfuckers. Okay? It's just a fake, man-made thing. Just like AI, it's man-made. It's not a god. Okay? By equivalent, light that creates life would be considered more of a god than what you're creating. Okay? God is the creator. You create, and you are the ones who are creating these idols that you worship. Since when does the creator worship the created? Where did you guys get this notion that you could ever fucking win this? Where do you get these ideas that you have any semblance of a chance? Okay? Like, for real, dude. For real. Satan already lost, and he didn't even fight God. He fought his angels. He fought his equals and lost. Do you think that you fighting with him is going to somehow tip the scales in fighting the guy, the thing that created all of existence? Wow, you a special kind of stupid. Again. You ain't got that one in the bag, dude. You backing the wrong damn horse. You backing a motherfucker who couldn't even beat his equals, let alone, and you think you're gonna join him and beat the creator? He couldn't beat his equal co-creations. You think he's going to beat the creator with your help? And you believe yourselves to be lesser beings than he? You worship this asshole? And you think that you're going to join him? You're going to join Satan in trying to defeat God? Jesus Christ, the Lord who created all things in existence? Good luck with that, buddy. You're going to fucking need it. You're afraid of us waking up. You're afraid of us figuring out the truth and coming after you. And we're just mortal beings. You think you're going to defeat an omniscient and omnipotent being that created all of existence? Wow! For real? Like, y'all on some fucking crazy shit. I don't know what you smoking, but y'all need to fucking stop. Because you on some next level dumb shit. You are on some straight next level dumb shit. You ain't gonna win this, guys. The more you push people to their breaking point, the closer it is to your own destruction. You're bringing about your own destruction. And I'm saying this to the globalists, not as a threat, but as an appeal to common sense. You say you're the enlightened ones, you're intellectually superior. Do you not realize that if you take everything away from people and push them to their breaking point, they've got nothing left, that they've got nothing left to lose, and they're going to come at you with everything that they have left, when all they have left is their will and their rage and desire to see you punished? If the government doesn't bring you to justice, people already hate Bill Gates. I'm honestly surprised nobody has just walked up to him on the fucking street and handled business like they did with that pharmaceutical CEO. I'm surprised that hasn't happened to Gates or Fauci, honestly, because we've seen no real headway other than Fauci's little assistant being indicted. Okay, and if that doesn't pan out, you know that the government is a total loss. And at which point, maybe that might be the tipping scale. If not, 2030 and all these vaccines and whatnot, yeah, you're going to push people to the fucking point that they're going to come for you. And I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just stating a plain and simple fact. Okay, you cannot push people to their breaking point to where they have nothing left, because then they have nothing to lose. You guys are next level fucking stupid. And you need to stop. You need to just embrace humanity and let people live and thrive. We could have a utopia fucking world. Life could be fucking great for everybody. No disease, no war, just peace and happiness and prosperity for everybody. everybody living their best fucking life, but you have to be greedy, homicidal pricks. Again. Why? Why would you want genocide and even your own destruction? You want to wipe out all life on this fucking planet. Why? When we can have a nice, beautiful planet. A utopia world. Where everybody is thriving and happy and wants for nothing. No disease, no war, no corruption. But no. You got to be genocidal madmen. You got to be fucking pedophiles and rape kids. You got to do all this sick, disgusting shit. And for what? For what? What do you gain out of it? Besides your little temporary high that evidently isn't enough. Because you want more and more and more and more. It's never enough. Tell me why. Tell me why you are hell-bent on your own destruction. Because that's what's going to happen. You ain't going to fucking win this. People are going to push back. And it's going to be, like I said, or a hell of a lot worse. You ain't going to be able to hide yourselves under the rocks from the wrath of God. Because through us, or his own actions, justice will be done and the heavens fall. Justice be done and let the heavens fall. And it's going to fall on you. And it's going to hurt real bad. Because you brought it on yourselves. Despite my warnings, despite the warnings of everybody who is awake and speaking out. I don't just speak to the people, I speak to everybody. I am a watchman on the tower as stated in Ezekiel. And I am warning of the dangers that are approaching. And I ain't playing. Okay? I'm on God's side. I may be a sinner. I've got a lot to atone for. Believe me. Okay? I am anything but perfect. I got a lot of things I got to work on. Okay? And that is never been more prevalent to me than in the here and now, having been diagnosed with diabetes, realizing that somebody started the countdown clock and I am here on borrowed time. So you're damn right. I am going to declare myself one of God's watchmen and will speak when I see the danger approaching. And will do my best to atone and seek forgiveness for my sins. And do better. And I can only hope that common sense will rule out in the globalists and they'll back down and follow my example. Because you globalist pricks can't win. And it's just going to be bad for you. It is. It's just going to be bad. So that's where I'm gonna leave it off, guys. So, everybody watching this, this has been the TINMAN with the Worldwide Resistance Network. Chris Sheldon signing off. And if you are watching this, you are the resistance. Again, check us out on all our varying social medias, X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, all at REALTWWRN. Check out our online store, REALTWWRN.printify.me. And keep the conversation going. If you have any thoughts or opinions on what we talked about today, share it in the comment section and share the retransmissions. Please help us get the word out there. It costs nothing to like the channel. It costs nothing to share the live feed and the retransmissions. So please show your support, show your love, and join in the conversation. And until then, I guess I will see you guys Saturday with the roundtable with Red, Green Beach, and Zero. And until then, this is TINMAN, Chris Sheldon with Worldwide Resistance Network. If you're watching this, you are the resistance. Stay strong, stay safe. God bless you all. God be with you. Because now has never been more prevalent. They're amping shit up against us. We need to amp up as well and continue to expose these monsters and force the hands of justice to do their job and bring these monsters to justice. And I don't advocate for violence. I want things done the right way. So, first steps first, we need to push for justice and not take no for an answer. So again, TINMAN with the Resistance. If you're watching this, you are the Resistance. Peace.
You can hear this. You are not alone. This is the Resistance.